Okay, here's a really quick tutorial to re-explain what we talked about in class last week, which was using channels to help use a mask to get rid of the sky, especially around tricky areas like the horse's hair here. So I'll just do this really quite fast. First of all, I need a mask, which I can't have as long as this layer is called background. So I'm going to change the name by double-clicking on it and just saying OK. Now it's called layer 0, and I can add a mask by just clicking on this little button right here. Just make this a little smaller. Okay, so I'll just click on this little button here, and that adds a mask. There's a mask. And the mask means that I'm just using a brush right now. Anywhere I paint black into the mask, notice the mask is selected here, not the image itself, but the mask. Anywhere I paint black into the mask will become transparent and reveal the layer below, which happens to be nothing. So transparent like this. The problem is that using brushes or other methods is fine in some areas, like this part of the horse's ear would be just fine to use this way. If I was careful, I could just go along here, and this would be an okay way to mask this out. But that doesn't work so well around the hair. So that's what we're dealing with here today. Channels. So I'll click on the image because I want to see the channels around this image, and here they are. I'll drag it over so we can see it a little closer. So here are the channels. This is an RGB image, so we have the RGB composite channel. That's the thing we're seeing that looks like a normal photo. And then we have the individual channels split up here, and you can look at those individually. Like so, there's the blue channel, the green, or the red. We could see they're displayed in black and white because the information is sort of mathematically just black or white. It's not really red, green, or blue. Anyway, what we're looking for here is the best contrast between the stuff we want and the stuff we don't want. So I would like, ideally, the sky to be white and the stuff we do want, the hair and so on, to be black. So which one of the channels comes closest to that? The red channel looks like that. I can say Command 3, 4, and 5 to do this, so I'll do that. So the red channel's like that, not very contrasty. The green is better, but the blue I think is best. The blue channel has the most contrast between what we don't want and what we do want. So we'll use the blue. So in order to do this, we just have to drag the blue channel, just grab it and drag it down onto the new layer icon. So now we have a duplicate blue channel. Great. But we need to make that contrast more contrasty. So I think the quickest method to do that is to use levels, okay, which you can find under, I think, image mode, let's see, image adjustments levels right there, but it's much easier just to say Command L and get this little control. So what we want to do is move these little sliders, these three little triangles, until we get this as close to white as we can, and the horse stuff, the stuff we want to keep, as close to black as we can. So let's just drag these guys around. It's always some combination of this. If I drag this too far this way, you see the horse's hair is disappearing. And if I drag this too far this way, then we start to get gray in here, which we don't want. We want this to be white. So find the best, medium point between those. I think that might work pretty well. I'd like this to be whiter still. Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah, maybe about like that. Okay, so we'll say that's fine. Now, all we need to do to make a selection is just hold down the Command key on a Mac, and I guess it's Control or something on a PC, but on your Macs at school, just hold down the Command key and just click on this channel on blue copy. So holding down Command, click on blue copy, there's your selection, that's good. And then click on RGB again, the RGB channel. Turn off the blue copy so it looks kind of normal now. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Oops. About there. Great. Now we want to go back to layers, which is here. And again, I want to not mess around with the photo itself. I want to mess around with the mask. Okay, so I'll click on the mask. Zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Now, I think what I have here is the inverse selection that I really want, like the opposite of what I want. Nope, it happens to be correct, so never mind that. Fine, we have the selection we want. We have the color brush we want. That's all good. I think that these little marching ants are a little distracting, so you can turn those or make them invisible, not turn them off, but make them invisible by just saying Command H. Command H, and they're kind of gone away, but it's still selected. And I'm aiming at the mask, and I'm using a brush with black, and I'm just going like this. And there you go. It's keeping the hair and getting rid of the sky. And actually, it got rid of maybe a bit more of the hair than I would really have liked, but you'll see that if I add another layer here, put it down below, and I'm going to change my color to blue. I'll turn off the selection, by the way. That's Command H to reveal it again, but Command D for deselect to turn it off. And then I'm going to go here, click on, and let's say my new sky is this color. You can see that the way this hair is masked now is pretty convincing. Like there's just, here I'll zoom in even more. There's a little bit of nice fuzzy hair that fades, that rolls off to this new blue color very nicely. If I had tried to use the pen tool or a brush to do that, there's no way I could have done that. You see what's left is some pixels in here that are really transparent. Because we used a channel to do this and not some other method, it actually allows there to be transparent pixels in the mask. And it's kind of a laborious explanation, but in the end, what I'm trying to say is it's probably the best, fastest way to do any areas like this that are kind of complicated, that you couldn't probably fool around with the brush. And the great thing is, now we've done that channel, it's still sitting there. So if I realize that, oh, I could use it again over here to do this guy's a little bit of hair, it'll probably work almost as well for this one. I'll just Command click on that and go back to my mask. Make sure I'm aiming at the RGB channel again. I'll go back to my mask by clicking on it, and I have black in my brush. Let me hide that selection, and I'm going to do this. And look at that, it's revealing that new sky color underneath really nicely, actually. It's beautiful. If you hand in work, this piece of work, and it looks like that, you'll do just fine. Look at that. You can see the horse's hair perfectly with the sky beneath. It's totally convincing. Fantastic. Good job. Let's do a little bit more over here. Look at that. It's leaving all that little fuzzy stuff. Just remember that it will also, anything that was white will be affected by the selection. So you just have to keep that in mind. But anyway, that's it. That is using channels to mask a really complicated